Unfortunately, I do not have an update on Titan, the submersible that is 2.5 miles down in the Atlantic Ocean, stuck somewhere by the wreckage of the Titanic. I do not have an update for that. But what I do bring is a healthy dose of good old-fashioned nostalgia and my personal introduction to submarine life. I bring you the ride 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea at Walt Disney World. So yes, I am old enough to have ridden on this ride that opened in 1971. Hey, geriatric millennials. Some of you know that I grew up in Orlando, and even though my parents didn't have a lot of money, they were able to buy the afternoon and evening passes for Walt Disney World. And this ride was somehow both super exciting and also terrifying at the same time. So first of all, the subs themselves were pretty menacing looking. They didn't really change the body type much from the 70s construction. And so I think this is actually the LA one. Hold on. Okay, I think this is the Orlando one, because you would walk up these steps and then go down into the sub. And then the sub would begin its route through this grotto that would later become Ariel's grotto. And watch what it was like. Hold on.
Once the submarine cleared the dock, the diving sequence would start, with hundreds of air bubbles filling the porthole view. This would create the illusion of descent. Once clear, the captain introduced himself to his passengers, and then introduced them to the underwater plains around Volcania.
And so there were about 40 people on each sub, and each person had a little porthole to look through. I think each person had one, or you shared one with a neighbor. Anyway, everybody was able to look out and see these kinds of scenes underwater. Ultimately, the ride was just way too expensive. Obviously, things that are submerged in water break down a lot more. They could only fit 40 guests on each sub at a time, and it took time to get them in and out of the sub. And I think they could only fit 6 in the entire pond, water area, grotto, whatever. Anyway, does anybody else remember this ride? It was my favorite ride, but also the most terrifying ride. I don't even know how to explain that. A haunted mansion type of experience. And I honestly think this is part of the reason why the Titan submersible story scares me so much, because I remember this ride and I remember feeling wholly trapped in this thing, believing that we were going to the bottom of the ocean. Because the bubble, everything, it felt like you were going to the bottom and you were stuck. Disney is responsible for my greatest, fondest memories and my biggest traumas.